Greetings and welcome. I'm Psychic Medium Roberto, and I truly hope you're doing well. I am guided by Spirit, and it is July 18, just after 3 p.m. in the afternoon. Trigger warning: the subject matter is of a mature nature and deals with true crime events. All cases are treated as alleged until proven in a court of law. So the curious Mr. Steve Wright has been pinging on me. I believe he pinged on me 2 to 3 weeks ago, somewhere around about there. So let's have a look at his case, because it has been pinging on me. And I must tell you, I have done some pre-work on it. In the quiet, as it were. Now, I didn't know too much about Steve, so I have, over the past 2 days, developing these charts. Of course, he's a well-known, famous DJ, mainly on BBC Two radio, fellow broadcaster. And we have his date of birth here. And I will just say, from a broadcaster point of view, he has beautiful numbers: the 26, 8, the 8, and all the 8s that he has is the broadcaster, is the communicator, the speaker, gift to the gab. He's even got a power number 44-8. Now, a lot of the reports that I said was he was married to radio. And I would believe that. Okay. The 16-7 and even the 34-7 speaks about the entertainment industry. And you know, when people have solid sevens, and this is in the main, because, you know, like in all sectors, you have the fakers are in the industry for the wrong reasons, let's say, right? But in the main, the true broadcasters and entertainment people, those that have solid sevens, like he has here, are called to this entertainment space. It's a calling. Now, the rationale, even by his family, and this may even be true, that he was devastated by the announcement of his show being taken off air. I can attest to that. I know the feeling when pre-COVID, working in the TV industry, and then losing that opportunity to work in that industry ever again, as I thought, was a terrible feeling, because all I wanted to do was work in the industry, right? It's a calling, it's a passion. I do have solid 7 in my name. And in fact, I was called, it was a off-the-shoe auditions. I was at a boarding school, and a casting director came to the school, and out of all of the kids, they chose me for a commercial. And I remember in those days, 1977, I was 7 years old. All the 7s, even got paid 70 Rand in those days. Lots of 7s. So I will say, given all the information about the ulcer, as far as the coroner goes, he died from a septic ulcer, right? Or the ulcer burst in his stomach. Now, I will say it's taken me quite a while to break this nut, but I believe I have it. So let's just go, if you're not familiar with the case, on February the 12th, 2024, a call is made out to come and check on Mr. Steve Wright. And the paramedics arrive on the scene and unfortunately had pronounced him deceased. Okay, so this February the 12th, which is the Monday, is more of a discovery day, right? Because, or it could be the death day or the day he passed, because anything could have happened. But in the main, I'm going to treat it as a discovery day, because I don't believe he died on this day. My theory, February 11th is when he passed. Now, on this day, we have a 14-5. Now, that already screams foul play. So I'm going to go red. And I'm saying everything we know about Steve is right. I would be devastated if I lost what I live and breathe for when I get out of bed, right? There's a report of a colleague that had spoken to him on the 10th, which is quite interesting, the 10th year, because at the end of the day, there's this emotional outburst, you know. And there was according to the gentleman on Sky or BBC where I watched it, they were talking about a possible return for Steve, or there was a bit of an opportunity. But of course, the new broom at the BBC, which we have them here, you know, new broom, clean sweep, and apparently she was more on the future aspects of broadcast, whereas according to statements, Steve was more from the old school situation, right? However, long story short, BBC Two lost approximately 1 million viewers when Steve's show went off air. So I spent many years in broadcast. 14-5, we definitely got foul play. And I must say, ladies and gentlemen, this case has been pinging on me, and in particular the past 2 days, and I couldn't get it, and I believe I have it. So I'm going to say February 11 is the day that he passed. Okay. Well, let's put it this way. By the time we get to midnight, or not even midnight, by the time we get to sunset, wherever it may be in the world, Steve has passed. Okay. Now, by all accounts, on the build-up, if we had to look at emotional markers, we see these out of sync 8s here. And let's look at it from a biological and as an emotional situation, right? So we do have these out of kilter 8s. So things aren't good. And what is causing this out of kilterness, right? So something is wrong. And we see a 14-5 year. So it's almost like in the, you know, when you're solving money crimes, follow the money. In these cases, is follow the issue, right? So let's have, I'm going to look down this lane first and see what we have here. So my overall sense is something has gone awry, obviously, with all these 8s, but it's bringing in the issue. It brings in this 10-1. And whenever you have a 10-1 in play, is dangerous. Because we can argue, yes, the 10-1 pings on Steve's 19-10-1. However, the issue is pings more directly on the BBC, I see here. So I haven't done all the ping pongs. So we got a 10-1. The issue, the center issue for Steve is the BBC. Of course, losing a show and the turmoil around there. I will also just add, if I may, I'm being cautioned as I'm about to say this, but I'm going to say it. I'll say it clean. 26-8 in Steve's number year. And I've said this in previous shows as well. Now, as mentioned, that's a good number for broadcast on the positive. However, in the negative, when you piss off a 26-8, or if a 26-8 is in a bad mood and he's got double 26-8, right? They tend to say things they will regret later. And I believe this is also at the heart of the matter. But if we led to believe that, you know, he's taken off air a year or two ago, why would this all still be relevant today? Okay? Or why is it happening in February 2024? As mentioned, part of that is because, according to one of his friends, in fact, I saw a picture of him online, called him on this day, there's a possible deal in play. Not concrete by any means, as he says, but part of. I also have another theory about that. Because we have a 10-1 before this conversation. So that could tell us, okay, well, look, BBC, it's true, Dinkum, I wanted to say, it's true that there's a deal in play. It looks kind of shaky because all these 8s are around. At the heart of it is BBC. But when you start seeing 19, 10, 1, even 11-2, if we stay on the line. 11-2, let's stay on the top line for now. The 11-2 speaks about deals, can speak about deals. It can also speak about business engagement. It also can speak about separation. And in conjunction with this 19-10-1 is problematic. It almost feels like if you had to follow the 10-1s, so here's 10-1, 10-1, the next day 10-1, in your face. And the 10-1 also pings on BBC. But it also pings on MI6. It also pings on 19-10-1 in Steve Wright. So I hear you asking, why would I even consider MI6? Because, ladies and gentlemen, this is my theory. Allegedly, needs to be tested in court. I don't make up stories. If I hear it, see it, I say it. But the 14-5 is the issue in this play. And 14-5 speaks about those naughty, naughty men. Compounded by, if you follow on, 15-6. This is just a story. But I'm looking for motive. I couldn't find it until late. And I've got another piece of evidence that will assist in the theory. 15-6 is dirty old men. Now, the issue comes in Steve may have said something wrong, or he shouldn't have said something he said. Because 26-8, when you're in that state of mind and you're in that situation, two people arguing, fighting, violent, angry, swear words, it's the kind of shit you regret saying. And I just get a sense, could Steve have been strong-arming, having known information about the 14.5 and the 15.6 to get a deal back? That's a theory. Just by the very nature of 26.8. And he's got double 26.8. But he may have been using the negative side of that 26.8 internally, trying to organize a deal here. And for me, when you have a 10-1 in play, is you bringing in the weight of an organization. And 10-1 speaks about those big corporations. Double-checked one or two other cases involving the MI6. The first one I looked confirmed, and then I thought, I did a second case where MI6 was involved. Here's MI6 here. Now I'll give you the how and what. But I think we got sinister things going on here, and Steve may have just said the wrong thing, which upset the 10-1s, you know what I mean? Right. That's when I believe he passed. By then it was done. Because the discovery day, we find a 14.5 here. Foul play, ladies and gentlemen. Foul play. In the reflection zone, foul play. Who's in the middle of the foul play? 16.7. (24.6), 15.6. Pings directly on BBC as well. If we want clarity around medical numbers, so generally we can say if a 6 is involved in a death from a biology point of view, you're talking head, heart, like a seizure, knife wound, gun wound, poison. If we're dealing with things like ulcers, you're looking for 8s and 4s. Okay. We could say, if this is the death, well, there's a 4 here, 8, but the outcome wouldn't suggest, the outcome doesn't suggest ulcers. So in Steve's case, actually, because I've just asked, so what did Steve die of here then? What's a 3? A 3 is a chemical. Like a poison, like the case we've just seen now in very heavy there. Gosh, where was it? In Thailand. The Vietnamese living in the hotel, or visiting in the hotel there with 2 Vietnamese Americans. Poison. I must actually, and all those that are learning, we should check that day and see how many 6s are around, because if poison was around there, it's a 6 day. So in my humble opinion, we definitely have foul play. So the 14-5 is the team that comes in. I've noticed now with British Secret Service, it's 14-5 for them, the sneaky guys. Now, as mentioned, so yes, I've got another case comparison, right? What stood out for me and blew my brains was, so here's Steve Wright's sequence on the top, right? Now let's look in the blue zone here, 10, 1, 8, 18, 9, 9. So all those patterns. Now if we start here, the person that was deceased in this case was on June the 5th, but I believe they died here. So we got exactly the same footprints happening here over a period of same days, 3, 4, 5 days, a period of 3, 4, 5 days here, same pattern. Same pattern as I found in the Michael Mosley case. So when I put out the 2 rows, and the first one I did was obviously the day that Steve passed. I just said all I need is 1 or 2 numbers that match to get let's call it a fingerprint, right? Yeah, to me it looks like a palm print. And maybe one last note on the no coincidence on the pattern. The people that do this kind of thing are methodical. You can almost call them robots. Everything is the same. So in my opinion, ladies and gentlemen, there was foul play here. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let me know what your thoughts are. I do engage with your comments. And please stay safe, stay alert, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.